Google just quietly dropped a new AI called AlphaEvolve, and it's actually going to shock you. I mean, it's already making new discoveries in math and science. That's not normal. But in order to understand AlphaEvolve, we have to rewind a bit. Remember Google's AlphaCoder? That system came out swinging, crushing some of the hardest coding and math problems out there. It didn't just solve them, it beat most competitive human programmers. Well, AlphaEvolve is the next level after that. But this isn't just AlphaCoder 2.0. It's not a slightly improved version or an update with a shinier interface. This is a whole new breed of system. It's built from a team of large language models, not just one. Think of it like an AI think tank, with different models playing different roles, each contributing to a kind of collaborative intelligence. But what really makes AlphaEvolve different is this. It knows how to train itself better. Let that sink in. We're not just talking about learning facts. We're talking about a system that can look at its own learning process, its methods, its architecture, its outputs, and say, I can do this faster, I can do this smarter. In technical terms, we'd say it's optimizing its own meta-learning. It's learning how to learn. And yes, it's already putting that to work in some very impressive ways. This might sound theoretical so far, but here's the part that'll make business leaders sit up straight. Here's one of the first real-world tasks AlphaEvolve tackled. It helped optimize one of Google's most critical internal systems, Borg. That's Google's planet-scale system for managing and orchestrating its servers, the thing that literally keeps their services running. It's also the inspiration behind Kubernetes, the now ubiquitous open-source platform used all over the tech industry. So AlphaEvolve took a look under the hood of Borg, something most humans wouldn't dare mess with, and found ways to improve it. The result was a 0.7% reduction in Google's cloud computing costs. Now, 0.7% doesn't sound like much, until you realize that Google spends billions of dollars on cloud infrastructure. That tiny fraction saved them millions, all from a few optimized lines of code. This is where things start to feel a little different. We're not talking about AI helping you write a poem. We're talking about AI rewriting how the internet runs and doing it better than the people who built it. Here's the thing. A lot of AI tools out there, they're clever, sure, but they're mostly just remixing what they've already seen. You give them a prompt, they comb through billions of examples from the internet, and then mash together a decent-sounding response. They're parrots. Very smart parrots, but still parrots. AlphaEvolve is different. It's not just remixing, it's inventing. It's coming up with new algorithms, writing original code, solving problems with methods that didn't exist in any textbook or Stack Overflow post. And what's even more shocking? Some of its solutions are better than anything humans have ever come up with. Cleaner, faster, more efficient. That's why Google's calling it a kind of super optimization agent. Not a chatbot, not a tool, but a problem-solving engine. One that hunts for elegant answers and keeps going until it finds them. Want a concrete example? Here's a mind-blowing one. There's this algorithm from 1969 called Strasson's algorithm. It's a well-known method for multiplying 4x4 matrices, and it was a pretty big deal when it came out. For decades, the best-known version required 49 multiplications. That's where the story ended, or so we thought. But then AlphaEvolve came along and took a look. It worked through the math, explored the possibilities, and discovered a new version that only needed 48 multiplications. Just one less, right? Doesn't sound earth-shattering, but in computing, that's huge. Multiply that tiny gain across trillions of operations in data centers, scientific simulations, graphics processing, AI models, and you're suddenly talking about massive efficiency gains. It's like removing a single pebble from a machine, and the whole engine starts running smoother. And maybe the most interesting part? AlphaEvolve isn't just solving other problems. It's actually speeding up the training of Gemini, the large language models that power AlphaEvolve itself. That means it's actively making itself better. So how does AlphaEvolve actually work? At the core of it, AlphaEvolve starts with something pretty simple, a prompt, but not just any prompt. This one comes with a very clear, very specific evaluation metric. That basically means there's a built-in way to tell whether the answer is right, wrong, or somewhere in between. So instead of just hoping for a good answer, the system knows exactly what it's aiming for and how to score it. Once it's got that prompt, the real magic begins. AlphaEvolve passes it to an ensemble of large language models, kind of like a team of its specialists. And each of these models plays a different role. You've got Gemini Flash, which is lightning fast. This one doesn't spend too much time overthinking things. It just throws a ton of different ideas out quickly. Think of it like scanning wide across the problem space, trying a little bit of everything to see what sticks. In computer science terms, this is similar to a breadth-first search. Then there's Gemini Pro, slower but way more thoughtful. Instead of going broad, it goes deep. It takes a single promising idea and really drills into it, checking if there's a better version hiding a few layers down. That's more like a depth-first search, where the model explores one idea thoroughly before jumping to the next. So while Gemini Flash is doing a bunch of fast experiments, Gemini Pro is sitting back, analyzing, and refining. Together, they form this sort of smart tag team, coming up with possible solutions, testing them, keeping the ones that work best, and tossing out the rest. But here's where it gets even cooler. This system doesn't stop at just testing answers. It actually evolves the prompts themselves. Yep, AlphaEvolve constantly tweaks and improves the instructions it's feeding into the models. And it does this again and again in a loop, always hunting for a better final result. So it's not just evolving answers, it's evolving the questions it's asking too. This whole thing is modeled after natural selection, the same way animals evolve in the wild. Try a bunch of stuff, keep the best traits, get rid of the weak ones, and repeat. But instead of genes and survival of the fittest, we've got code and evaluation metrics. So when you step back for a second, it's kind of wild. We're using AI models which were inspired by the structure of the brain and optimizing them using evolutionary algorithms, which were inspired by biology. Basically, we've built a system where nature is teaching machines how to be even better machines. But that's not even the end of it. This isn't just some little script writing bot. AlphaEvolve is built to handle massive, complex code bases. I'm talking large-scale software projects, not just bite-sized programs. And it can work across any language. Python, Java, C++, you name it. It doesn't care. It's not just locked into one ecosystem. That makes it a multi-tool for development, and a pretty scary one at that. So yeah, once again, the internet lit up with headlines saying programmers are doomed. It's become kind of a meme at this point. AI replaces devs for the 100th time this year. But AlphaEvolve does go a bit further than most. It's not just repeating code it saw online, it's generating new algorithms, like actually better solutions to problems that we've been solving the same way for decades. And it's not just devs in the crosshairs, it's also creeping up on mathematicians. Because some of these problems AlphaEvolve is solving, they're pure math, stuff with known boundaries and rules, and it's improving them anyway. But of course, there's a catch. There's always a catch. AlphaEvolve only works on problems where there's a clear, automated way to tell if the answer is good or not. That's great for math, that's great for optimized algorithms, and even for some types of code. But if someone hands you a design spec for a mobile app and it's full of contradictions, vague requirements, and last-minute changes, yeah, AlphaEvolve's not going to save you there. So for a puzzle that doesn't have a proper answer key, it just can't do much with that. All in all, yes, it's a step forward, and a big one, but it's also limited. Don't worry, I'm definitely not talking about general-purpose AI that's going to replace every engineer on Earth tomorrow. But hey, while we're on the subject, what's one thing you think AI will never be able to do?